Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with a truth that's often hard to admit. You were born with greatness inside you. Not average, not mediocre, not just getting by. No, greatness. Somewhere along the line, maybe you stopped believing that. Maybe life happened. Maybe people planted seeds of doubt in your mind. Maybe every time you tried to rise, something or someone pulled you back down. But deep within you, the fire never fully went out. That dream, that hunger, that purpose, it's still there, even if it's buried under fear, disappointment, or years of silence. You felt it in quiet moments, in restless nights, in passing thoughts that whisper, you were made for more. But here's the problem. We live in a world that glorifies comfort and plays it safe. A world that teaches you to fit in, follow the crowd, and do what's practical. A world that conditions you to believe that bold dreams are only for the chosen few, the lucky, the talented, the special. I'm here to tell you that's a lie. You don't need to be born with privilege, perfection, or permission to live the life you're capable of. You just need to wake up to your own power. You just need to decide that fear is no longer your ruler. Because the truth is, most people aren't stuck because of lack of talent or opportunity. Most people are stuck because of one thing: fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough, fear of starting and not finishing, fear of shining too bright, or worse, fear that they'll try and still feel invisible. But let me ask you this. What if that fear was actually pointing you in the right direction? What if the thing you're afraid of most is the exact thing you were meant to do? What if everything you want, everything you've prayed for, dreamed about, journaled, envisioned, is sitting on the other side of a decision to try anyway? Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just another motivational talk. This is a wake-up call. A moment for you to stop shrinking, stop second-guessing, and stop waiting for the perfect moment to chase what's already calling your name. You have more in you. You have untapped power, unspoken ideas, unrealized potential. But nothing changes until you do. So today, I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. Not about your excuses, not about your limitations, but about your potential and what's really holding you back from stepping into it. Because if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Let this be the moment you draw a line in the sand and say, I will not let fear write my story any longer. Let's go deeper. Let's get real. Let's uncover what's really holding you back. What's really holding you back? Let's have an honest moment. You've had dreams, powerful, exciting dreams. Maybe you wanted to start your own business, switch careers, become an artist, write that book that's been in your heart for years, or chase a goal that most people would call crazy. But every time the moment comes to take action, you hesitate, you freeze, you overthink, and eventually you talk yourself out of it. Why? Because deep down, there's a voice inside whispering, what if you fail? What if you give it your all and still fall short? What if people laugh at you? What if you're not good enough? That's the fear of failure talking, and it's louder than most people care to admit. But I want you to understand something important. Fear is not your enemy. It's not some evil force trying to destroy your dreams. In fact, fear is a signpost. It's a signal. It tells you that you're about to do something that stretches you, something that takes you out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. And that's where growth lives. Here's the truth. You can't grow without risk. You can't succeed without first stepping into uncertainty. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever read, every trailblazer that changed the game, they all felt fear. But they moved anyway. The real enemy isn't fear. The real enemy is inaction. It's sitting on your potential. It's letting time pass you by while your dreams gather dust on a shelf. It's convincing yourself that you'll do it later or when the timing is right. But the right time doesn't come, not magically. The right time is the moment you decide you're tired of being stuck. You see, failure isn't the problem. We all fail. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. The problem is when we let the fear of failure control our lives. Think about it. Would you rather fail and learn, or spend the rest of your life wondering what could have happened if you had just tried? Because regret, that's worse than any failure. Regret stays with you, it haunts you, it follows you every day like a shadow of the life you could have lived. So today you have a choice. Stay afraid and stay stuck, or feel the fear and move anyway. Take the step, make the call. Start the project, begin the journey. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be brave enough to try. Let this be the moment you stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I fly? Your dream is waiting, but so is your fear. Only one gets to win. Which one will it be? Reprogram your mindset around failure. Let's talk about failure, not the kind that crushes you, but the kind that builds you. You've been taught that failure is bad. From a young age, we're conditioned to avoid mistakes, to play it safe, to only act when we're sure we'll succeed. If you failed a test, you were punished. If you lost a game, you were benched. If you made a mistake, people laughed or criticized. So naturally, your mind started to believe that failure equals pain. But what if that belief is the very thing holding you back? Listen carefully. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. It is the price you pay to grow, to improve, and to earn your next level. Every successful person you've ever looked up to has failed, sometimes massively. But here's the difference. They didn't let failure define them. Take a moment to reflect. How many opportunities have you missed because you were afraid of what might go wrong? How many times have you said no to your dreams because the thought of failing made you freeze? That fear isn't rooted in truth. It's rooted in a faulty belief system. You need to start reprogramming your mind. Instead of saying, what if I fail? Say, what can I learn if I do? Instead of thinking people will judge me, remind yourself, they're not living my life, I am. Instead of avoiding risk, embrace it. Because that's where transformation happens. You weren't born to live a small, careful life. You were born to take bold steps and do things that scare you. That fear you feel before you act, that's not a stop sign, it's a green light. It means you're heading in the right direction. The most powerful shift you can make is this. See failure as feedback. Failure isn't final. It's just information. It's life's way of showing you what doesn't work so you can find what does. You try. You fall. You get up. You adjust. You try again. That's how champions are made. That's how dreamers become doers. So reframe the narrative in your mind. Instead of failure being a dead end, make it a stepping stone. Instead of feeling ashamed when things go wrong, feel proud that you had the courage to try. Because most people never do. You see, your mindset is the foundation of everything. If your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and shame, you'll never act. But if you fill your mind with courage, resilience, and learning, you become unstoppable. Failure isn't a reason to quit. It's a reason to keep going, stronger and smarter than before. So reprogram your mind. Start looking at failure not as something to fear, but as something to welcome. Because on the other side of every failure is the lesson that takes you closer to your dream. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start now. Let's be honest, how many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? Or when I have more time, I'll chase that dream. Or once I feel more confident, I'll go for it. That idea of waiting for the perfect moment is one of the biggest lies fear tells you. It convinces you that someday everything will align, your courage, your confidence, your resources, and then, magically, you'll be ready. But that someday often turns into never. Here's the truth. There is no perfect time to start. There is only now. You won't suddenly wake up fearless. You won't suddenly have every answer. You won't suddenly feel 100% prepared. And guess what? You don't need to. Most people who succeed started scared. They started messy. They started unsure. But the difference is, they start. Every dream begins with one decision, to take the first step. Not a leap, not a sprint, just a single step forward. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for clarity. Stop waiting for a perfect plan. Because action brings clarity. Movement builds momentum. You figure it out on the way, not before you begin. You might fail. You might make mistakes. You might face rejection or judgment. But what's worse? Those temporary discomforts, or a lifetime of regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Think about that. If you want to write a book, start writing the first page. If you want to launch a business, research your niche or build your first product. If you want to change careers, start learning the new skill today, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Do something, anything that moves you closer to your dream. Progress is not about giant leaps. It's about consistent steps in the right direction. You build confidence by doing. You build belief by acting. And the more you show up, even when you're scared, the more your fear loses its grip on you. You don't need to see the whole staircase, you just need to take the first step in faith. Let the fear of not trying be greater than the fear of failing. Let the idea of looking back and wondering, what if I had tried, push you harder than any obstacle ever could. You are capable of so much more than you realize, but your potential will remain hidden unless you move. Today is the perfect day to start. Not because everything is ready, but because you are. Don't let fear steal another day. Don't let doubt silence your dreams. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. And most importantly, start now. Embrace failure as part of the journey. One of the biggest reasons people give up on their dreams is because they think failure is the end. They try something once, it doesn't work, and they take that as a sign to stop. But here's the truth. Failure is not the end. It's a lesson. It's a teacher. It's a stepping stone on the path to success. Every person who has achieved something great has failed, sometimes multiple times. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. What do all these people have in common? They didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply feedback. It tells you what didn't work, so you can adjust, grow, and try again with more knowledge and experience. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall down hundreds of times, but they don't stop trying. They don't say, I guess walking just isn't for me. No, they get up over and over until one day they take that first real step. Why? Because failing is part of the learning, and you are no different. The fear of failure often comes from attaching your identity to outcomes. You think, if I fail, that means I'm not good enough, that I'm not capable. But that's a lie. Failure doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you're trying. It means you had the courage to step into the arena when others stayed on the sidelines. So stop being ashamed of your mistakes. Own them, learn from them, share them. Let them remind you that you are bold enough to pursue something bigger than comfort. The road to your dreams is not a straight line. It's full of detours, roadblocks, and dead ends. But every setback is an opportunity in disguise. Every failure brings you one step closer to success, as long as you don't quit. When you shift your mindset and see failure as a necessary part of the journey, not something to avoid, but something to expect, you'll begin to fear it less. You'll start to embrace the struggle, because that struggle is shaping you. It's building the resilience, the wisdom, and the character you'll need when success finally arrives. So the next time you fail, don't panic, don't give up. Instead, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? How can I use this to get better? Fall forward, learn fast, get up stronger. And remember, the only true failure is never trying at all. Your dream is worth the risks, it's worth the setbacks, it's worth the failures. Because every time you rise after a fall, you prove to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you are unstoppable. Take the first step, your future depends on it. There's a powerful truth you need to understand. The future you dream about will never happen until you take that first step. No amount of planning, no level of perfection, no magical sign from the universe will replace action. If you want to overcome fear and chase your dreams, you must decide, right here, right now, to move. The dream in your heart was placed there for a reason. It's not random. It's not foolish. It's your calling, your purpose, your mission. But if you don't act on it, it will fade. And nothing is more painful than regret. Not failure, not rejection, not the struggle. Regret is the true enemy. So how do you start? You start by taking one step. That's it. Not a giant leap, not a perfect launch, just one small, intentional step forward. Make the call, write the page, record the video, apply for the job, say yes to the opportunity. That one action creates momentum, and momentum is what builds confidence. Don't wait until you feel ready. Truth is, you may never feel 100% ready. Fear doesn't vanish before you move. It shrinks as you move. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. And when you take that first step, you send a message to yourself and the world. I believe in me. I believe in my dream. I believe I'm worthy of something greater. Yes, the road will be uncertain. Yes, there will be challenges. But don't overthink the entire staircase. Just focus on the first step. You don't need to know every answer or have it all figured out. The path will reveal itself as you walk it. Here's something else to remember. Progress is more powerful than perfection. Too many people never start because they think they need the perfect plan, the perfect timing, or the perfect skill set. But perfection is a myth that paralyzes progress. You learn as you go. You grow through doing, not just dreaming. And along the way, you'll discover things about yourself you never knew. You'll develop strength you didn't realize you had. You'll build resilience, clarity, and purpose that only comes from experience. So today, choose boldness. Choose action. Choose to step into the unknown with faith, not fear. Because the life you want is waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. Your dreams are too important to ignore. Your gifts are too powerful to bury. And your future is too bright to be held back by fear. Take the first step, even if your voice shakes, even if your knees tremble, even if your hands are unsure. Take the step. Because once you do, you'll realize you were always stronger than your fears. Your dream? It's closer than you think. Let's pause and take this all in. You've just walked through a journey of truth, courage, and mindset transformation. You've looked fear in the face. You've examined the lies you've been told about failure, about timing, about what you're capable of. And now, you stand at a powerful crossroads. One that will define the direction of your life from this point forward. Here's the truth. You don't need another motivational video to convince you that you were born for more. You already know that. Deep down, something inside you has always whispered it. Through the late night thoughts, the daydreams, the dissatisfaction with just getting by. That voice is your purpose calling out to you. That's the fire. That's the signal. But greatness doesn't just happen. It's not something you stumble upon or inherit. Greatness is claimed. It's created by people who are willing to feel the fear and move forward anyway. It's created by people who understand that failure isn't the end, it's the beginning of refinement. It's forged in the fires of action, not waiting. Growth doesn't show up for the perfect, it shows up for the persistent. So what are you waiting for? You've been given the tools, the mindset shift, the permission to be bold, but none of it matters unless you do something with it. Nothing changes until you do. And the only way to step into the life you are born to live is to stop overthinking and start doing. No more waiting for signs. No more needing everyone's approval. No more sitting on dreams while fear writes the script. Today's your moment. You've learned that fear is a guide, not a stop sign. You've learned that failure is feedback, not final. And most importantly, you've learned that there is never a perfect time. There's only now. The people who win in life are not always the most talented or the most prepared. They're simply the ones who took the first step and never stopped moving. So take that step. Do it afraid. Do it unsure. Do it imperfectly. But do it. Because every time you act in spite of fear, you weaken its grip on your life. Every time you take a step forward, even if it's small, you're building momentum. And momentum creates miracles. There's no more room for excuses. There's no more room for playing small. Not after everything you've heard. Not after everything you know now. The version of you who refuses to let fear win, That version is waiting. The life you've been dreaming of is already reaching out to meet you halfway. You just have to move. So here's the final question. Are you going to let fear win, or will you finally rise and fly? The world is waiting, and so is the best version of you. It's time. Start now.